Okay. So in last class in characteristics of center of mass, 8 points were completed. That means we discussed the displacement of the particle in SHM, velocity of the particle in SHM, acceleration of the particle in SHM. Okay, and force acts on the particle in SHM, kinetic energy, potential energy, total energy. Okay, so we discussed all this. So 8 points are completed. Next ninth one. Next ninth one. The force acts on the particle in force acts on particle. Force acts on particle in SHM. Particle in SHM. F is equal to mass of the particle in SHM. The particle which executes simple harmonic motion, that is called simple harmonic oscillator. Okay, the mass of the particle in SHM, m, into acceleration of the particle in SHM. So F is equal to m into what about acceleration of the particle? Suppose when the particle is making simple harmonic oscillations, at certain instant, whenever from the mean position the particle lies at a distance x, what is the formula for acceleration? And what is the force acts on the particle? Whenever the particle has displaced from the mean position to a distance x, at that time, the acceleration of the particle is equal to minus omega square x, no, omega square y or omega square into x. Okay, therefore, F is equal to minus m omega square into x. This minus sign represents whenever the particle is moving away in this direction, displacement is in this direction, whereas the force and acceleration acts on the particle is in opposite direction. That means this force acts on the particle opposite to the displacement. The force acts on the particle is opposite to the displacement and always towards the mean position or equilibrium position. That's why this is called the restoring force acts on the particle. It is the restoring force acts on the particle. Restoring force acts on the particle is always towards the fixed point only. Whatever the direction of displacement of the particle, the restoring force is always directed towards the fixed point or towards the mean position only. Such force is called restoring force. This is also equal to minus m omega square into what is the formula for displacement of the particle in SHM after time t seconds. T seconds తర్వాత సింపుల్ హార్మోనిక్ మోషన్ ఉన్న పార్టికల్ t seconds తర్వాత దానికి డిస్ప్లేస్మెంట్ ఫార్ములా ఏంటి? Displacement x is equal to a sin omega t, no? So instead of x, you can write a sin omega t, a sin omega t, where omega is the angular frequency. Since x is equal to a sin omega t. Okay, this is the formula for restoring force acts on the particle in SHM in terms of time and in terms of displacement. These two formulas are very, very important. So from this, what is the maximum force? Maximum force means whenever the particle reaches the extreme position, at the time x is equal to maximum displacement, which is equal to amplitude. X is equal to maximum displacement, which is equal to amplitude. Okay, when x is maximum, which is equal to amplitude, then restoring force is maximum. That's why at extreme position, at extreme position, maximum restoring force acts on the particle is equal to minus omega square into a, minus m omega square into a, since x is equal to a. Minimum means 0. Of course, we can take magnitude only. Minimum means 0 because whenever the particle lies at mean position, the net force is 0. That's why minimum force is 0 at mean position. At mean position, since x is equal to 0. Okay, so what is the formula for maximum force? Means this is the formula for maximum force. Okay, next. Whenever okay, these are the characteristics. Next, moreover, we know acceleration is equal to minus omega square into x. Okay, if you draw the graph between acceleration and x, okay, you will get a straight. Here you see a is the variable, x is the variable, it is constant. So y is equal to minus m into x. That means it is a straight line having negative slope like this. Okay, here this is the angle made by this straight line. It is the acceleration versus displacement graph. As it is having negative slope, that negative slope is equal to slope is equal to tan theta, which is equal to minus omega square. That means negative slope is there, no? Here tan theta means angle made by straight line with positive x-axis theta, that is equal to tan theta. Tan theta value is equal to minus on this negative slope minus omega square. Okay, of course here you take just magnitude only, because theta is the angle made by this straight line with a positive x-axis. That's why tan theta is equal to omega square only, but slope is negative, no doubt, because angle made by the straight line with positive x-axis in anti-clockwise direction is this one, that is greater than 90. That's why tangent value you will get negative. Suppose if you take this value, then you will get magnitude only. So slope magnitude is equal to tan theta, which is equal to omega square. It is the acceleration versus displacement of the particle in SHM. Sometimes the graph will be given like this, and what is the time period of the particle they may ask. If they ask the time period, then if the angle is given, then tan theta is equal to omega square. That means tangent of this angle is equal to omega square. From this omega you calculate, then omega is equal to 2 pi by t or 2 pi f. We can calculate time period or frequency. Okay, right. Next, so these are the next one more point, 11th one. What is the formula for kinetic energy of the particle? Maximum kinetic energy of the particle in SHM is equal to half m omega square a square. Minimum kinetic energy 0. Okay, then what is the average kinetic energy of the particle? Means maximum kinetic energy plus minimum kinetic energy by 2. That means this plus this by 2 means you'll get 1 by 4 m omega square a square. It is the average kinetic energy of the particle. Similarly, average potential energy. Maximum potential energy is equal to m omega square, sorry, half m omega square. General formula is half m omega square x square. Maximum means that x is equal to maximum, that is equal to amplitude square. Okay, minimum potential energy, that is equal to 0. Therefore, average potential energy is equal to average potential energy of the particle in SHM is equal to u max plus u minimum by 2. That is equal to, here also you will get 1 by 4 m omega square into a square. It is the average potential energy. So these are the characteristics of the particle in SHM. Note points. Note points related to simple harmonic motion. First one, whenever the particle starts their motion from the mean position, at t is equal to 0, particle lies at mean position. It is extreme position, right extreme, left extreme. After t seconds, whenever the particle reaches the point here, after t seconds, okay, what is the displacement of the particle? What is the velocity? What is the acceleration? Displacement of the particle after t seconds is equal to a into sine omega t, because the motion is considered from mean position. This is amplitude. Okay, that's why x is equal to a sine omega t. Okay, similarly, v is equal to, what is the velocity of the particle at this point after t seconds when it has traveled from the mean position? V is equal to omega a cos omega t. Okay, here I think we can write omega a into cos omega t can be written as sine of cos omega t can be written as sine of 90 minus omega t, no? Cos omega t can be written as 90 minus omega t. Okay, next, acceleration. Acceleration is equal to omega minus omega square into x. That is equal to minus omega square into x, means a sine omega t. That is equal to omega square a into, how we can write this? Here this can be written as sine. Here sine pi plus omega t we can write now. Pi plus omega t. Sine pi plus omega t. Okay, we can write, because sine pi plus omega t means it is in third quadrant. In third quadrant, sign negative. That's why this can be written as omega square a into sine pi plus omega t means minus sine omega t. So minus sine omega t into omega square a means that is equal to minus omega square a into sine omega t. Okay, that's why we can write this equation like this. We can write the equation like this. Okay. Now, what is the phase difference between displacement and velocity? Phase difference between displacement and velocity, phase difference between velocity and acceleration, phase difference between, so we have to find the phase difference between different physical quantities. Okay, so now okay, you see phase here, this is the phase angle for the displacement, it is the phase angle for the velocity, it is the phase angle for the acceleration. While finding the phase difference between any physical quantities in SHM, all trigonometric functions, that means sine omega, these all trigonometric functions must be of same type. We have to convert them into the same type, even though they are different. You see, actually velocity formula is this one. In terms of cos is there, but here sine is there. You convert this cos also in terms of sine. Similarly, here moreover, it is having positive quotient. Here also positive quotient. But here a is equal to minus omega square x. Minus omega square into x means a sine omega t. But here trigonometric function is okay. Sine omega t, it is also sine of something. It is also sine of something. But quotient is negative. We have to convert them into positive sign. So this can be written as omega square a into sine of pi plus omega t, no? Sine of pi plus omega t. Okay, that means if you write like this, there is no difference. There is no difference between this and this, because sine pi plus omega t can be written as minus sine omega t. That's why if you write minus sine omega t, then you will get this one. So just we rearrange them. Now all are sine functions only, no? Here sine function, here sine function, here sine function. Now when you have written, if you want to find the phase difference between any two physical quantities here, all trigonometric functions must be of same type. All must be either positive or negative. Of course, we have converted all in terms of positive quotient. Okay, now phase difference between displacement and velocity. Phase difference between displacement and velocity. You see, the phase angle for this is here. This can be written as sine cos. No, we can write sine 90 plus omega t, right? So sine 90 plus omega t. Phase angle here is 90 plus omega t. Here it is omega t. Phase difference, this is greater. So this minus this. 90 plus omega t minus omega t means 90 degree. That's why phase difference between them is 90 degree or pi by 2 radian. So phase difference between displacement of the particle and velocity of the particle in SHM is said to be pi by 2 radians. Okay. Similarly, phase difference between velocity and acceleration. Velocity and acceleration. Here it is 90 plus omega t, here pi plus omega t. Okay, now phase difference between these two means pi plus omega t, 90 plus omega t. You subtract this from this. This minus this means omega t will be cancelled. Pi minus 90. Of course, it is pi by 2. Pi minus pi by 2 means pi by 2. Pi by 2 radians. So phase difference between x and v and a both are same. Phase difference between x and a. Phase difference between x and a. So phase difference between displacement and acceleration. Here it is sine omega t. Here it is pi plus omega t. This is greater phase angle. So this minus this, pi plus omega t minus omega t means pi radians. So these points are also very, very important. Phase difference between displacement and velocity is pi by 2. Velocity and acceleration pi by 2. And x and displacement and acceleration is pi radians. It is very, very important. Okay, it is one of the note points. Next, second one. Here second one, suppose we are given one x is equal to a sine square omega t is given. X is equal to a sine square omega t. Is it represent simple harmonic motion or not? is it represents the simple harmonic motion or not? Of course, you say this is capital A. You write this is capital A. Capital A or any constant something. Say it is say k. X is equal to k sine square omega t is given. Is this function represents? Is this equation represents the motion of the particle which is in simple harmonic motion or not? Is this equation represents simple harmonic motion or not? For any particle to execute simple harmonic motion, what is the condition? A is equal to minus omega square x. That means acceleration is directly proportional to minus x. That means the acceleration is directly proportional to displacement, opposite to each other, and acceleration is always directed towards a fixed point or mean position. Fixed point or mean position. But here we are given x is equal to k sine square omega t. Is it obeys that condition? A is equal to minus omega square x or not? We have to verify. If it obeys that condition, then it is represents simple harmonic motion. We can say not only this one, any function. Sometimes they may give x is equal to a into e to the power of minus kx, like that it may be given. So is it obeys simple harmonic motion or not? If they ask like that, first you find the formula for acceleration from this. It is the displacement. So from this, how we can find the acceleration? So this can be written as k into sine square omega t, means we can write 1 minus cos 2 omega t whole by 2. No, sine square omega t ఇట్లా రాసుకోవచ్చు కదా. So this is equal to k by 2 into 1 minus cos 2 omega t. Okay, it is x. Now velocity v is equal to dx by dt. We can write, because x is a function of time. That's why dx by dt is equal to what? This is equal to d by dt of x, means k by 2 into 1 minus cos 2 omega t. Okay, sorry. Cos 2 omega t. Now k by 2 is constant, you keep aside. K by 2 of d by dt of 1 means 0, minus d by dt of cos means you will get minus sine 2 omega t into coefficient of t is 2 omega. So you multiply with 2 omega. Okay, now minus plus. So plus here 2 cancel. K omega plus k omega into sine 2 omega t. Okay, this is the velocity, but we need acceleration. Therefore, acceleration comma a is equal to dv by dt, because velocity in terms of function, velocity as a function of time we got. Now dv by dt is the acceleration, instantaneous acceleration, which is equal to d by dt of this one. When you differentiate this one, k omega is constant, you keep aside, into sine differentiation is cos. So cos 2 omega t into coefficient of t is 2 omega. You multiply with 2 omega. Therefore, acceleration is equal to k omega into 2 omega, means 2k omega square into cos 2 omega t. Okay, that implies a is equal to 2k omega square into, what about cos 2 omega t? How we can write cos 2 omega t? Cos 2 omega t can be written as square root of 1 minus sine square 2 omega t, no? Sine square 2 omega t. Okay, therefore, acceleration a is equal to 2k omega square into root of 1 minus sine square 2 omega t. Sine square 2 omega t is equal to x by sine square 2 omega t. Sine square 2 omega t means we can write 1 minus sine 2 omega t can be written as 2 sine omega t cos omega t. Square is there. So 4 sine square omega t into cos square omega t. Like this. Definitely you won't get a is proportional to x. Okay, here sine 2 omega t can be written as sine 2 theta can be written as 2 sine theta cos theta, no? Similarly, sine 2 omega t can be written as 2 sine omega t cos omega t. So 1 minus sine 2 omega t can be written as 2 sine omega t cos omega t whole square. 4 sine square omega t cos square omega t. Therefore, acceleration a is equal to 2k omega square into square root of 1 minus 4 into Sin square omega t means we can write x by k into cos square omega t means square root of 1 minus sin square omega t means 1 minus sin square omega t means x by k. Square is there, x square by k square. Okay, here also sin square omega t means x square by k square under root. Okay, definitely from this it is clear that a is, of course, we would not get negative sign, and moreover a is not proportional to x. From this equation definitely you won't get a is not proportional to x, not proportional to x. మరి ఏ proportional to x లేదు, ఆపోజిట్ సైడ్ మైనస్ సైన్ కూడా లేదు, కాబట్టి therefore body does not execute simple harmonic oscillations, or it is not in simple harmonic motion. Body does not execute simple harmonic motion. Okay, this is the, in this way you have to do. Okay, a function ఇవ్వరండి, first you find the acceleration is from that equation, is acceleration is proportional to minus x or not, we have to first find. If it is acceleration is proportional to minus x, definitely that function represents a simple harmonic motion, otherwise it does not represent the simple harmonic motion. Okay, x is equal to k sin square omega t, x is equal to k sin square omega t, that is given by them, that is given in the problem. If x is equal to k sin square omega t, is it execute simple harmonic, is it represents the equation for simple harmonic motion or not, that is the question. If x is equal to this one, is particle execute simple harmonic motion or not, we have to test it, we have to check them. Okay, Likit, ఇది మనకు వాడు ఇచ్చాడు, ఇది ఎట్లా వచ్చింది కాదు, ఇది వాడు ఇచ్చాడు, ఇది సింపుల్ హార్మోనిక్ మోషన్ కాదా అవునా అనేది చెక్ చేయాలి మనం. సో ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ లైక్ దిస్, డెఫినెట్లీ డస్ నాట్ రిప్రజెంట్స్ ద సింపుల్ హార్మోనిక్ మోషన్. నెక్స్ట్, మోర్ ఓవర్ ఇఫ్ టైమ్ ఫంక్షన్ ఈస్ హ్యావింగ్ స్క్వేర్, అంటే కొన్ని ఫార్ములాస్ లో ఒమేగా ఇంటూ టీ స్క్వేర్ టైప్ లో ఉందనుకోండి, అట్లా స్క్వేర్ ఉన్నా కూడా సింపుల్ హార్మోనిక్ మోషన్ రిప్రజెంట్ చేయదు. ఈ నీ నాట్ డూ లైక్ దిస్, డైరెక్ట్లీ వీ కెన్ సే ఇఫ్ టైమ్ ఫంక్షన్ ఈస్ హ్యావింగ్ స్క్వేర్ ఆర్ క్యూబ్, వాట్ ఎట్ మే బి, higher powers of time is there, then definitely that formula doesn't represent the particle in a SHM. Okay, so in this way we have to check. ఏదైనా సరే ఒక ఫంక్షన్ ఇచ్చి డిస్ప్లేస్మెంట్ ఫార్ములా ఇచ్చేసి is it execute simple harmonic motion or not means first you find velocity, then you find acceleration. If you can write that equation, acceleration equation, as a is proportional to minus x, if it is in that form, then that executes simple harmonic motion, otherwise it does not execute simple harmonic motion. That is the case. Okay, that is note 2. Next, note 3. We know acceleration is equal to minus omega square into x. So when you draw the graph between a and x, definitely you will get a straight line like this. Here the angle made by the straight line with x-axis is theta. Then tan theta, that means slope tan theta is equal to, you see, along slope tan theta is equal to opposite side by adjacent. Opposite side means it is parallel to acceleration and it is x. So tan theta is equal to a by x. Tan theta is equal to a by x. From this formula, a by x is equal to omega square, no? That's why in magnitude, tan theta is equal to a by x, that is equal to omega square. So the tangent of this angle is equal to a by x, which is equal to omega square. Ante tan theta is equal to omega square. If you are given this angle, we can find tan theta value. Then you know omega value. If you know omega value, omega is equal to 2 pi by capital T. It is the time period of the particle. Suppose if they ask the frequency, omega is equal to 2 pi into frequency f also we can write. F we can calculate. Okay. Next, fourth one. Suppose there are 4 simple harmonic oscillations which are represented by the equations x1 is equal to a1 sine omega t, x2 is equal to a2 sine pi by 2 means 90 plus omega t, x3 is equal to a3 into sine 180 plus omega t, and x4 is equal to a4 into sine 270 degree plus omega t, or maybe given as 3 pi by 2, it is pi by 2. You write in terms of pi, better to write in pi, in terms of pi. You write in terms of pi. Okay. So here it is pi by 2 plus theta omega t. It is pi plus omega t. It is 3 pi by 2 plus omega t. It is given like this. There are 4 simple harmonic oscillations represented by the equations x1, x2, x3, and x4. Whenever these 4 simple harmonic motions experienced by a particle simultaneously, ante okesari at the same time, when a particle experiences 4 simple harmonic motions, what is the resultant amplitude? Resultant amplitude A is equal to question mark. Resultant amplitude of 4 simple harmonic motions. ఈ 4 సింపుల్ హార్మోనిక్ మోషన్స్ యొక్క రిజల్టెంట్ యాంప్లిట్యూడ్ ఎంత? ఇటువంటి ప్రాబ్లం అడిగినప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ యూ రిప్రజెంట్ దీస్ ఆసిలేషన్స్. 4 oscillations are there. 4 simple harmonic oscillations are there. In case of first simple harmonic oscillation, you see phase angle is omega t. You take this omega t along x-axis. Along x-axis, phase angle is omega t and amplitude is a1. Okay, next. Here phase angle is pi by 2 plus omega t. Omega t is taken along this direction. Phase angle omega t is taken along this direction. Omega t is along this direction. But pi by 2 plus omega t means, for this we have to add pi by 2. Then you will get this one, no? This is pi by 2 plus omega t. So in this direction, the amplitude is a2. Amplitude is a vector quantity. Amplitude is a vector quantity. It is always away from the mean position. Amplitude is a vector quantity, is a vector, and always away from mean position. It is also important term. Is amplitude a scalar or vector? Means it is a vector. Okay. So here, for the second particle, the amplitude of the particle is along this direction. Next, for third particle, pi plus omega t. Pi plus omega t means it is omega t. Pi plus omega t means that point omega t plus pi. That simple harmonic motion lies in this direction with amplitude a3. Next, 3 pi by 2 plus omega t means omega t plus 3 pi by 2. That means that fourth simple harmonic motion lies along this direction. These are the amplitudes with different phase angles. Okay. The phase difference between these two is pi by 2 plus omega t minus omega t means pi by 2. So here 90 is there. Phase difference between these two is pi by 2. Phase difference between these two is pi by 2. It is pi by 2. Okay. Now, suppose if you take these two, if you see these two, here this phase angle is pi plus omega t, no? It is 3 pi by 2 plus omega t. Okay. Now, what is the phase difference between these two? Phase difference between these two, 3 pi by 2 plus omega t, pi by 2 plus omega t means pi. Phase difference between these two is pi, means these two are in opposite phase. If the phase difference between any two particles is equal to pi, then the two particles are said to be in opposite phase. They are said to be in opposite phase. That's why these two are in opposite phase. When these two simple harmonic motions are in opposite phase, then what is the resultant amplitude? Meek actually ga, when two simple harmonic motions having amplitudes a1, a2 meet at a point with a phase angle of phi, then resultant amplitude is equal to square root of a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos phi. Similarly, as these two are in opposite direction, suppose if a2 greater than a4, then resultant of these two is in this direction, which is equal to a2 minus a4. Suppose if a1 greater than this a3, because a1 a3 also in opposite direction. If a1 greater than a3, then a1 minus a3. is the resultant amplitude of these two. Now, A1 minus A3 is in this direction, A2 minus A4 is in this direction. So as these two are perpendicular, the resultant amplitude of these two is A, which is equal to ఈ రెండిటి యొక్క రిజల్టెంట్ కనుక్కుంటే చాలు స్క్వేర్ రూట్ ఆఫ్ A1 minus A3 whole square plus A2 minus A4 whole square. That's all. It is the resultant amplitude. It is also very, very important concept. Okay. Next, fifth one. Suppose x1 is equal to a1 into sine omega t is given, x2 is equal to a2 into sine omega t plus phi is given. What is the phase difference between these two simple harmonic motions? What is the phase difference between these two simple harmonic motions? Phi. Phase difference between these two simple harmonic motions is equal to phi. Okay. If phase difference between the two simple harmonic motions is phase difference between two SHMs, comma, delta phi or phi dash is equal to or phi naught is equal to omega t plus phi is the more phase angle no? Minus omega t, that is equal to phi only, no? Therefore, resultant amplitude whenever these two simple harmonic motions acts on a particle simultaneously, when the two simple harmonic oscillations, the above two SHMs acts on a particle simultaneously, comma, then resultant amplitude capital A is equal to square root of, as amplitudes are vector quantities, phase difference between these two simple harmonic motions is equal to phi. That's why the phase difference between the angle between these two is also equal to phi. Hence, resultant amplitude is equal to square root of a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos phase difference between them is phi. So we have tried this formula. So based on this formula only, we got the resultant amplitude, this one. Okay. It is also important problem. Shall I raise this one? Shall I raise this one? Okay, next, sixth one. It is a platform. Here it is a platform moving up and down, up and down with certain amplitude A and angular frequency omega. The platform is moving up and down with angular frequency omega and amplitude A. So this platform is moving up and down along vertical direction with angular frequency omega and amplitude A. Okay, one block or one particle is kept over the surface of this plank having mass m. While the plank is moving up and down directions, then for the block not to lose contact with the platform, with what maximum amplitude the platform can oscillate, or with what angular frequency the platform can oscillate. That is the case. Okay, here you see on the hand, you keep a body, and if you move up and down like this, suppose if you gradually increase the speed at certain speed, or when you oscillate with certain amplitude, here there is a possibility for the block to lose contact with our hand now. ఒక బాడీని దీని మీద నుంచి ఇట్లా పైకి కిందకి మూవ్ చేస్తాం అనుకోండి, when you move the hand with certain amplitude at particular amplitude, at certain amplitude, while it is moving down, moving up and down like this, at certain position the block loses contact with hand. At what position there is a possibility for the block to lose contact? Tell me. At what position, while it is moving up and down, it is the upper extreme position, it is the lower extreme position. While it is moving like this, at what extreme position there is a possibility for the block to lose contact with the platform? At upper. So here, whenever the platform reaches a position here it is the lower extreme position, it is the higher extreme position. Higher extreme position. Of course, it is higher extreme position. Whenever the block reaches the higher extreme position, at the time, we know whenever any particle or any body moving, any body in SHM at extreme position, it is having maximum acceleration towards the mean position. No? That's why pseudo force acts on this block in opposite direction, that is equal to ma max. ప్లాట్ఫామ్ ఏ మ్యాక్స్ యాక్సలేషన్ తో ఇటువైపు మూవ్ అవుతోంది అంటే ఇమీడియట్ గా సూడో ఫోర్స్ దానికి ఆపోజిట్ డైరెక్షన్ లో పనిచేస్తుందిగా. దిస్ ఈస్ ద సూడో ఫోర్స్ యాక్ట్స్ ఆన్ ది బ్లాక్ ఇన్ అప్వర్డ్ డైరెక్షన్. ద వెయిట్ ఆఫ్ ది బ్లాక్ is there now, that acts in downwards direction. For the block not to lose contact from the platform when it reaches the highest position, what is the condition? For the block not to lose contact with the platform when it reaches the highest position. Of course, if the block does not lose contact with the platform at highest position, definitely in any other places of the platform, the body never lose contact. There is a possibility for the block to lose contact only when the platform is at highest position. The platform is at highest position. Okay. So the condition for block not lose contact with platform, tell me, is what is the condition? ma max అనేది mg కి ఈక్వల్ గా ఉండొచ్చు లేదా mg కంటే తక్కువ ఉండాలి, అంతే కదా. ma max less than or equal to mg అంటే ma max అనేది ఈక్వల్ గా ఉన్నా జస్ట్ కాంటాక్ట్ లో ఉంటుంది, లేదు తక్కువ ఉందనుకో mg గ్రేటర్ కాబట్టి స్టిల్ ఇట్ ఈస్ మెయింటైనింగ్ కాంటాక్ట్. దట్స్ వై ma max ఈక్వల్ టు mg ఆర్ లెస్ దాన్ mg, then only the block is always in contact with the platform. So this is the condition for block not to lose contact with the platform. What is the maximum acceleration? Whenever the body executing simple harmonic oscillations reaches the extreme position, at extreme position the platform or body experiences maximum acceleration, that is omega square a. No, therefore m into a max means omega square a, less than or equal to m into g. mm cancel. So what is that implies omega square less than or equal to g by, suppose amplitude is fixed, only frequency will be changing, angular frequency will be changing, then omega square less than or equal to g by a, or omega less than or equal to root g by a. So for the body not to lose contact with the platform, what is the maximum angular frequency with which the block can be moved? What is the maximum angular frequency with which the block can be moved? Means omega is a maximum angular frequency is equal to root g by a. అంతకంటే తక్కువ ఉండొచ్చు కానీ అంతకంటే ఎక్కువ ఉండకూడదు. కాబట్టి maximum angular frequency, it is the condition, and maximum angular frequency is equal to root g by a, that is equal to 2 pi by angular frequency maximum అయినప్పుడు టైం పీరియడ్ మినిమం అవుతుంది కదా. సో మినిమం టైం పీరియడ్ t మినిమం అనుకుంటే 2 pi by t మినిమం, ఆర్ దట్ ఈస్ ఈక్వల్ టు 2 pi into f max. యాంగులర్ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ మ్యాక్స్ ఉందంటే ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ కూడా మ్యాక్స్ ఉంటుంది, అంటే వాటి టైం పీరియడ్ అడిగితే ఈ ఫార్ములా యూజ్ చేస్తాం, మినిమం టైం పీరియడ్. ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ అడిగితే దిస్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు దిస్ వన్, ఎఫ్ మ్యాక్స్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు 1/2 pi into root g by a, ఈ ఫార్ములా యూజ్ చేస్తాం. g అంటే యాక్సలరేషన్ డ్యూ టు గ్రావిటీ, a is the amplitude of oscillating platform. So this is the vertical oscillations when the platform is moving along horizontal direction. When platform is moving along horizontal direction, in that case, seventh one, Here it is, okay, when platform is moving along vertical direction. When platform is moving along vertical direction in SHM. Vertical direction in SHM. So here, when platform is moving when platform is moving along horizontal direction, and in SHM, is in SHM. So in this case, you see, this is the platform. It is the mean position. So platform is moving like this. It is moving like this. Platform is moving like this in horizontal direction with amplitude A, and angular frequency of the platform is say omega. So whenever the platform reaches the right extreme position or left extreme position, whenever the platform reaches the right extreme position or left extreme position, here whenever it reaches the say right extreme position, whenever the block is kept on the platform, now the block is here. Actually, block is kept at one end. Block is kept on the platform. Okay, now when the platform starts oscillations with angular frequency omega and amplitude A, at the time, whenever it reaches the extreme position, say right extreme position, when it reaches the right extreme position, at that time, the platform is an acceleration A max, because at extreme position, the acceleration is maximum. Maximum acceleration of the platform acts towards the mean position. So because of that, the pseudo force acts on this block away from the mean position, means in this direction. That is equal to m into A max. That is where m is the mass of the block. So whenever the platform is moving along horizontal direction and making oscillations with angular frequency omega and amplitude A, so whenever the platform reaches the extreme position, at that time, the platform has maximum acceleration A max towards the mean position. So because of that, the block kept over the platform experiences maximum pseudo force away from the mean position, means in this direction. It is the pseudo force, F pseudo. Okay, because of the pseudo force, suppose if there is no friction between the block and the platform, immediately the block slips off, no? But it's not happening. That's why at the same time, the frictional force acts on the block due to platform in opposite direction. For the block not to lose contact, what is the condition? For the block not to lose contact here, the condition is, suppose the limiting friction between the block and the platform is say FL. For the block not to lose contact, not to lose contact, not this one, not to slip off here, not lose contact, not to slip off, because it slides on the platform. That's why for the block not to slip off on platform, what is the condition? The pseudo force acts on the block, MA max. The pseudo force acts on the block must be less than or equal to, or the limiting friction acts on the block must be greater than or equal to this MA max, or pseudo force acts on the block must be less than or equal to limiting friction. అంటే లిమిటింగ్ ఫ్రిక్షన్ కంటే ఈ ఫోర్స్ తక్కువ ఉంది అనుకోండి, అప్పుడు స్లైడ్ కాదు, స్లిప్ ఆఫ్ కాదు. ఓకే, కాబట్టి MA max less than or equal to FL. M into A max అంటే omega square into A, less than or equal to FL అంటే mu into, that means coefficient of static friction, mu(s) into normal reaction acts on the block అంటే as the block is on the horizontal surface, then normal reaction is equal to mg only, no? So mg, here m cancel. Okay, therefore from this formula, omega square less than or equal to mu sg by A implies omega less than or equal to mu sg by A under root. Sometimes they may ask the amplitude only, so you write amplitude also. So here this is the condition. So what is the maximum angular frequency with which it can make oscillations, means omega max is the omega max, if you take equal to, we have to write. So whenever the platform is having angular velocity, maximum angular velocity equal to this one or less than that one. So maximum they asked. That's why omega max is equal to square root of mu s z by a. Sometimes they may ask the amplitude. Amplitude, you see, from this formula, amplitude less than or equal to mu s z by omega square, no? Amplitude less than or equal to mu s z by omega square. Or maximum amplitude, A max means maximum amplitude for the block not to slip on the platform is equal to maximum amplitude equal to this quality, equal to mu s z by omega square. So in this way we can calculate. Maximum angular frequency is this one or maximum amplitude is this one for the block not to slip off from the platform. Okay, this is the condition. Yeah, block will slip only at extreme position, because at extreme position only, in case of oscillating platform, only at extreme position only it experiences maximum acceleration. That's why there is a possibility for the block to lose contact or to slip off only at extreme position. Here it loses contact, here it slip off from the platform at extreme position only, because at extreme position the block experiences the maximum pseudo force. At extreme position only, there is a possibility for the block to leave to slip off on the platform or to lose contact with the platform only at extreme position. Okay. Shall I raise this one? Seventh one. Shall I raise this one? Okay. Okay, right. Next. Suppose you are given next eighth one. Potential energy of a particle. Potential energy of a particle in SHM that can be given in the form of a x square minus b, or that can be given in the form of okay, it is given like this. Potential energy of the particle in SHM is given like this. Potential energy of the particle in SHM is given like this. It is not simply U is equal to half m omega square. Actually, what is the formula for potential energy? Half m omega square x square, no? At any displacement x, the potential energy of the particle is given as this one. So U is equal to, this is constant. It is expressed as A into x square. So ax square is there already. Some constant is also there. Some constant is there means when x is equal to 0, even at the mean position, x equal to 0 means the particle is at mean position. At mean position, the particle is having some potential energy. That is the minimum potential energy. Okay. So in this way, the equation is given. From this, what is the force acts on the particle? What is the restoring force acts on the particle? They may ask like that. What is the restoring force acts on the particle? We know restoring force is equal to m into a. A means omega square into x. That's why m omega square x is the restoring force. No, from this also we can find the restoring force. So Restoring force acts on the particle. Restoring force acts on particle in SHM. F is equal to negative gradient of potential energy. Negative gradient of potential energy. Already we know negative gradient of potential energy is the gravitational force. Gravitational force is the conservative force. Here it is also conservative force. The restoring force acts on the particle in SHM is also a conservative force. That's why the restoring force acts on the particle in SHM is the negative gradient of potential energy. Okay, that is equal to minus d by dx of u means ax square minus b. So this is called, you differentiate them, minus d by dx of ax means a is constant, you keep aside. D by dx of x square means 2 into x minus d by dx of b. B is the constant. D by dx of b means 0. Therefore, restoring force acts on the particle is called minus 2a into x. Minus 2a into x. In this way, we can find the restoring force acts on the particle. Because as acceleration is directly proportional to minus x, restoring force is also directly proportional to minus x, because it is a condition for SHM. Acceleration or force acts on the particle is directly proportional to x, opposite to each other, and restoring force is always directed towards the mean position. So it follows that condition. 2a is the constant. Okay, that's why. Suppose if the equation is given like this, what about 2a value? Here, what about 2a value? Actually, it is just like minus restoring force acts on the particle is called minus m into acceleration of the particle in SHM. Acceleration of the particle in SHM means omega square into x, no? So when you compare these two, at the place of 2a, m omega square is there. Here 2a is equal to m into omega square also we can write. From this, what is the angular frequency they may ask? Angular frequency is equal to root 2a by cap small m. That is the angular frequency. Time period may ask, that is equal to 2 pi by t. Frequency they may ask, that is equal to 2 pi into f. By we can calculate time period, frequency, whatever it may be, if the equation is given like this. Okay. So this is the next note point. Finally, ninth one, about the mean position O when the particle makes oscillations here at certain position at a distance x, when the particle displaces when the particle displaces through a distance x, at that time the energy of the particle is, say, the total energy of the particle is, say, E. Total energy of the particle is E, which is equal to potential energy at this point plus kinetic energy at this point. Okay, so whenever the particle reaches the point here, initially the amplitude of the particle is, say, A. Initial amplitude is equal to, say, A or A naught. Okay, therefore total energy of the particle is equal to E is equal to U plus K, no, that is equal to half m into omega square into A naught square. It is the total energy initially, initial total energy. Okay, suppose whenever the particle lies at the point here, it is given some energy, E naught is added. Some energy is added to the particle here. Some energy is added. Now the final total energy of the particle becomes what? Final total energy of the particle. Total energy E naught is equal to E dash is equal to, already when the particle is at a distance x, it is already having some energy, total energy, initial energy. It is, say, EI, initial energy EI. Okay, but whenever this amount of energy is added, now the total energy becomes EI plus E naught. When this amount of energy is added to the particle, when it is at a distance x, then what is the amplitude of the particle? New amplitude of the particle. This is equal to half m omega square into new amplitude whole square. So where A dash is the new amplitude, now that new amplitude A dash, that is equal to question mark. So by using this relation we can calculate. Okay, now simple pendulum, very, very important concept in this chapter. Definitely next week, mainly they ask the problems on simple pendulum. Very, very important concept. Next important, actually some more note points are also there. Some more note points, of course. Ninth one, I forgot those points. Some more note points are also there. Suppose two particles making oscillations, with same amplitude but different frequencies. Okay, this is first particle, it is second particle. This also oscillates with the same amplitude. But here initially, but both are having different frequencies. Both are having different frequencies or different time periods, T1 and T2. This particle is having time period T1, this particle is having time period T2. Both oscillates with different time periods, but the both starts motion from the same place. Both starts motion from mean positions. At t is equal to 0. At t is equal to 0, both starts motion from the mean position only. But as suppose here time period t1 greater than t2, say time period t1 greater means here time taken by this particle to complete one oscillation is more. That means slowly it oscillates, but it oscillates fastly, quickly, like this, as time period is less. Okay, that's why whenever the motion of the two particles have been started from the same place, then definitely immediately after their motion is started from the mean position, as it oscillates very quickly, then it move very fastly, so that this particle crosses this particle and move fastly like this. So initially both starts motion simultaneously from the same mean position. That means both starts motion in the same phase. Both particles starts their motion from the same position in the same direction. That's why we can say both starts motion initially in the same phase. After what time or after how many oscillations made by any one of the particles, again they meet together in the same phase. అంటే ఇక్కడ రెండు ఒకే మీన్ పొజిషన్ దగ్గర నుంచి ఒకే డైరెక్షన్ మోషన్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తున్నాయి కాబట్టి ద టూ పార్టికల్స్ స్టార్ట్ దేర్ మోషన్ ఫ్రమ్ ది మీన్ పొజిషన్ ఇన్ ద సేమ్ ఫేజ్. Same phase means both starts motion from the same point, from the same position in the same direction. Then we can say both starts motion in the same phase. But as the time period of this particle is less than time period of this one, it moves fastly. So whenever they starts motion from these places, suppose if this particle comes to this position, this particle reaches this position maybe, because it is moving very fastly. Okay, after how many oscillations made by these two, again they meet together at certain place. సపోజ్ రెండు ఆసిలేషన్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఇక్కడి నుంచి మోషన్ స్టార్ట్ చేసిన తర్వాత మళ్ళీ రెండు కూడా కొంత టైం తర్వాత రెండు ఒకే ఫేజ్ లో మీట్ అయినాయి అనుకుందాం. both particles meet together in the same phase again. Suppose both particles meet together in the same phase at this point. Both reaches the same point again after some time t seconds. Within t seconds, when both meet together in the same phase, after time t, if both particles meet together, in same phase means again they meet at the same point while moving in the same direction, then we can say they meet together in the same phase, comma, then number of oscillations made by this first particle here time period is t1. Number of oscillations made by first particle is say n1 is equal to n. Number of oscillations made by the second particle n2. The difference between number of oscillations made by the two particles is only 1. That means is number of oscillations made by this particle is more or this particle is more? As it makes oscillation very quickly, definitely this makes one oscillation more compared with this one before they meet together. That's why here number of oscillations is equal to n plus 1. ఇక్కడ రెండు ఒకే ఫేజ్ లో మోషన్ స్టార్ట్ చేసి మళ్ళీ ఒకే ఫేజ్ లో మీట్ అయ్యే టైంలో డెఫినెట్ గా ఒక టైం పీరియడ్స్ డిఫరెంట్ గా ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి వన్ పార్టికల్ మేక్స్ వన్ ఆసిలేషన్ మోర్ కంపేర్డ్ విత్ అదర్. Time period less, that's why it makes more number of oscillations compared with this one. The difference between number of oscillations more compared with other is equal to 1. That's why if it makes n oscillations to meet together in a time t seconds, then it makes one oscillation more compared with this one. That's why n plus 1 before they meet together. Okay, now what is the time taken by this first particle to meet here? What is the time taken by the first particle to meet together here? To meet together again, the number of oscillations made is n. Time taken for oscillation is equal to t1. That's why total time taken to meet together is equal to n1 into time period t1. For this particle, n2 into time period t2. This total time taken by the two particles to meet together is same because both starts motion at t is equal to 0 in the same phase, and again after t seconds both meet together in the same phase. That's why total time taken for the two particles remains same. n1 t1 is equal to n2 t2. n1 means this n into t1 is equal to n2 means n plus 1 into t2, where n is the n number of oscillations made by first particle before two particles meet in phase. Two particles meet in phase. Before the two particles meet in phase. This condition is very, very important. Now, what is the number of oscillations made by the first particle before they meet together in the same phase means n we have to calculate. What is the number of oscillations made by the second particle to meet together in the same phase means n plus 1 we have to calculate. That is the question. Okay. Okay, Manoj, how is a correct only one? Here both starts motion from the same place. So while moving like this, definitely while moving in this direction at certain position they meet together. While coming back they meet together. Only one oscillation is different. One oscillation is different compared with this one. Okay. Next. Okay, we will do the problems now. All of you open your objective material. All of you open your objective material. Sorry, simple pendulum is there, no? Okay. Simple pendulum. So very, very important topic in this chapter, simple pendulum. I can say problems tomorrow because if I explain simple pendulum, you can do more problems in this chapter. Up to this only we are having. Okay. So simple pendulum. When you take a heavy point mass, suspended by means of a light inextensible string from the rigid support, then such arrangement is called the simple pendulum. And a heavy point mass, okay, 10 kg, 20 kg, 100 kg తీసుకోండి, but size must be very small. Point mass అంటే ఒక పార్టికల్ లాగా ఉండాలి. 100 kg mass ఉండి పాయింట్ సైజ్ పార్టికల్ అంటే size very, very small, dust particle లాగా ఉండాలి. Is it possible practically? No. But actually, the definition of the simple pendulum means when a heavy point mass suspended by means of a inextensible string from the rigid support, inextensible light sting from the rigid support, then such arrangement is called the simple pendulum, ideal simple pendulum or simply simple pendulum. Okay. When a heavy point mass when a heavy point mass suspended by means of a light inextensible string from a rigid support is called ideal simple pendulum. But in actual practice, it is not possible to construct the ideal simple pendulum because the heavy point mass, the mass must be very high, but size must be just like a particle. It is not possible in actual practice. That's why in actual practice, a heavy sphere which is suspended by means of an inextensible light string. Suppose here, this is the light inextensible string. A sphere is suspended at the lower end. This upper end of the string is fixed to the rigid support. Okay. So when in actual practice, when a sphere, metal sphere, which is called the metal bob, bob, a metal sphere is suspended by means of a light inextensible string, then this arrangement is called the simple pendulum. In actual practice, it is called the simple pendulum. Okay. Now I will erase this one and I will draw the simple pendulum here. Okay. Here it is the simple pendulum. A metal sphere which is called the bob, a metal sphere or metal bob suspended by means of a light inextensible string. That means the mass of the string is negligible, inextensible, it will not elongate. Okay. So by means of a light inextensible string, a metal bob or metal sphere is suspended from the rigid support. Such arrangement is called the simple pendulum in actual practice. So in this case here, the point where from which this sphere is suspended, metal sphere is suspended or metal bob is suspended, that is called point of suspension. Say yes, point of suspension, yes. Okay, it is the suspension wire. Center of the sphere or center of gravity of the sphere is exactly the center of the sphere. That is the center of gravity. The distance between point of suspension and center of gravity of the sphere, the distance between point of suspension and center of gravity of the sphere, that is called the length of the simple pendulum. So L is the length of the simple pendulum. Length of simple pendulum. So length of the simple pendulum is the distance between the point of suspension and the center of gravity of the sphere. That is called length of the simple pendulum. But in general, compared with length of the string, the size of the sphere is very less. Radius can be neglected. That's why the length of the string is considered as the length of the simple pendulum only directly. And ikkadi nunchi ikkadi varaku length of the string ఎంత ఉందో అదే length of the pendulum గా కన్సిడర్ చేస్తారు, ఎందుకంటే రేడియస్ నెగ్లిజిబుల్ కాబట్టి in actual practice the length of the simple pendulum is considered as the length of the string only, but actually length of the simple pendulum means the distance between the point of suspension and the center of gravity of the bob or sphere. That is called the length of the pendulum. So this is nothing but the simple pendulum. It is the simple pendulum. Okay. So this is the simple pendulum. Now how it works and by means of simple pendulum, what is the importance means, with the help of the simple pendulum, the acceleration due to gravity at the given place can be determined. The use of the simple pendulum is, by means of the simple pendulum, the acceleration due to gravity can be determined. So determination of acceleration due to gravity by simple pendulum. Simple pendulum hyphen determination of acceleration due to gravity. Okay, now you take the simple pendulum. By means of inextensible string, you suspend a sphere or bob having mass m. You suspend from the fixed rigid support. Yes, it is the point of suspension. It is the simple pendulum and it is the bob of the sphere. It is the center of gravity. The length of the pendulum is say L. The length of the pendulum is L. Now you pull the bob aside through a small distance and you release them. You pull the bob aside through a small distance and you release them. It makes to and fro oscillations like this now. Whenever it is displaced through a small distance aside and you release them, then almost all the bob of the simple pendulum move to and fro along the same straight line path like this, almost all. Okay, now you see, suppose the bob is pulled aside through a small distance. In order to see the diagram here, I will take the more distance, but actually we have to pull the bob a small distance. Okay, just you pull the bob a small distance aside. Just you pull the bob aside and you release them. The bob of the pendulum is pulled aside to a small distance so that the pendulum makes an angle theta with vertical. And when you release them, then it move to and fro oscillations like this. Okay, at the instant whenever the bob is at this position, at that time, the displacement of the bob from the, it is the mean position. It is the mean position, say O, mean position. Mean position O. So whenever the bob is displaced from this place, what are the forces acts on the bob? Weight mg acts vertically downwards direction. Okay, tension acts in the string along the length of the string away from the bob in this direction. Okay, now you resolve this weight into components. One component is towards the mean position, other component is away along the length of the string. So ito component ga divide cheyandi, dani perpendicular ga oka component ga divide cheyandi. If it is theta, this is theta. Then this component is mg sin theta, and it is mg cos theta. Mg cos theta. So here the weight component of the bob mg cos theta away from the point of suspension along the length of the string, that is balanced by tension. That's why along the length of the string there is no resultant force, but mg sin theta acts on the bob in this direction. In this direction means whenever the displacement of the bob is very small, almost all mg sin theta is towards the mean position. That's why this mg sin theta acts as the restoring force. Therefore, restoring force acts on the bob. Restoring force acts on bob when it displaces through an angle theta from vertical. Restoring force acts on a bob when it displaces through an angle theta with vertical. Theta with vertical is what is the restoring force? Restoring force F is equal to mg sin theta. Restoring force acts on the particle is equal to mg sin theta. Whenever the displacement of the particle is in this direction, theta is in this direction, the restoring force acts on the bob of the pendulum is in opposite direction. That's why we had put minus sign. Okay, when here suppose you see, whenever the bob is displaced from this mean position through a small angle theta, then this displacement is very small, that is say x. That may be length of the arc or that may be this displacement x. Both are same whenever angle is very small. Okay, that's why from the diagram, whenever the, here you see, when theta is small, then from the diagram, length of the arc OA is equal to x. Then sin theta is equal to, we can write x opposite by hypotenuse. Hypotenuse means it is the length of the pendulum, no? Length of the pendulum L. That's why opposite x by length of the pendulum L. You substitute this value here. F means mass of the bob into acceleration of the bob, which is equal to, because the restoring force acts on the bob of the pendulum is equal to ma, which is equal to 1 minute. I will have water. Okay, here the restoring force acts on the bob of the pendulum is equal to mass into acceleration, which is equal to minus mg into, what about sine theta? Sine theta is equal to x by L. So here cancel. So acceleration of the bob of the pendulum is equal to minus g by L into x. This is equation 1. Okay, so here whenever the bob of the pendulum is displaced through a small distance, then only we got this relation. Otherwise, the length of the arc x is not equal to this distance. Length of the arc x అనేది దీనికి ఈక్వల్ కాదు, the opposite side కి ఈక్వల్ కాదు. Whenever theta is very small, then only we can take length of the arc equal to opposite side by hypotenuse, means that is equal to length of the pendulum only. Hypotenuse is equal to length of the pendulum only. Okay, now from this you see, at a given place where this simple pendulum experiment is doing, g is constant. Once the simple pendulum is constructed, length of the pendulum does not change, so L is constant. Okay, therefore A is equal to minus z by L. That means the some constant into x. Okay, that means A is proportional to minus x, we can write now, since g by L is constant, or g and L are constant. Okay, so this is the required condition for the bob, for any body to execute simple harmonic oscillations. ఏ బాడీ అయినా సరే సింపుల్ హార్మోనిక్ ఆసిలేషన్ చేయాలి అంటే A is proportional to minus x అనే కండిషన్ ఫాలో అవ్వాలి, because from the fundamental definition of the simple harmonic motion, we have this formula, this relation only. That's why here, whenever the bob of the pendulum is displaced through a small angle theta, and when you release them, in such case already we got A is proportional to minus x. That's why when the bob of the pendulum is displaced through a small distance and when you release them, definitely as it follows the condition for SHM, the bob of the pendulum makes simple harmonic oscillations. The bob of the pendulum makes simple harmonic oscillations. Okay, so when, therefore, bob of pendulum, so when the bob is displaced through a small distance and when you release them, it makes simple harmonic oscillations. Okay, bob of the pendulum makes simple harmonic oscillations. Bob of the pendulum makes simple harmonic oscillations. Okay, so whenever it makes simple harmonic oscillations, then in case of a simple harmonic oscillations, what is the formula for acceleration of a body? Restoring force means the force acts on a body in SHM to bring the body back to mean position is called the restoring force. When the bob is displaced here, the weight component mg sin theta acts on the bob towards the mean position. That means this force only brings the bob back to its mean position. That's why this force component mg sin theta brings the bob back to its position or restores the bob back to its original position. That's why it is called restoring force. mg sin theta force వల్లనే ఇది ఈ బాబ్ మళ్ళీ బ్యాక్ వస్తుంది. ఒకవేళ ఈ ఫోర్స్ లేకపోతే the bob will not come back. That's why it is called restoring force. Okay, Vinod Kumar. Okay, right. Here, therefore, from this it is clear that the bob makes simple harmonic oscillations. When any body, in case of any body, when makes simple harmonic oscillations, what is the formula for acceleration in terms of displacement? Yeah, in terms of displacement, But in SHM, for any particle, acceleration is equal to minus omega square into x. It is equation 2. Now we compare this 1 and 2 from 1 and 2. When you compare 1 and 2, at the place of a is there, x is there. At the place of omega square, g by l is there. Therefore, omega square is equal to g by l implies omega is equal to root g by l. Angular frequency of the simple pendulum is angular frequency or angular velocity. Angular frequency of simple pendulum, omega is equal to root g by l. If t is the time period, if time period of the simple pendulum, time period, capital T is equal to, time period means time taken by the bob of the pendulum to complete one oscillation is called time period. Time period is equal to 2 pi by omega, no? That is equal to 2 pi by omega means into root L by Z. Therefore, time period of the simple pendulum is equal to 2 pi into root L by Z. So, the time period of oscillating pendulum is equal to 2 pi root L by Z. Time period ante simple pendulum ఒక oscillation complete చేయడానికి పట్టే టైం ని టైం పీరియడ్ అంటామండి. ఒక ఆసిలేషన్ అంటే మీన్ పొజిషన్ దగ్గర నుంచి ఎక్స్ట్రీమ్ పొజిషన్ దగ్గరికి వచ్చి మళ్ళీ ఇంకో ఎక్స్ట్రీమ్ పొజిషన్ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి మళ్ళీ బ్యాక్ వచ్చేస్తే అప్పుడు వన్ ఆసిలేషన్ కంప్లీట్ చేసింది అంటాం. Whenever the bob of the pendulum displaces from the mean position and reaches one extreme position and again to right extreme position and again it come back to the mean position, then we can say it complete one oscillation. Whatever the time taken by the simple pendulum to complete one oscillation, that is called time period of simple pendulum, which their formula is 2 pi root L by Z. That means the time period of the simple pendulum depends on the length of the pendulum and the acceleration due to gravity at that place. But it does not depend on the mass of the pendulum, mass of the bob in the pendulum. Here mass of the bob is m, no, but there is no role of m here. So when you suspend the wooden block or metal sphere or whatever it may be, whatever the mass of the bob may be, if length of the pendulum does not change, then time period does not change. Time period does not change. Okay, that's why time period depends on the length of the pendulum and acceleration due to gravity only. It does not depends on the mass of the pendulum or mass of the bob of the pendulum. That is very, very important point. Okay. Now, so based on this time period formula, we have to discuss some different note points. What is the frequency of the simple pendulum? Time period is t. Then frequency is equal to reciprocal of time period, no? Frequency is equal to reciprocal of time period. Frequency. Frequency is equal to reciprocal of time period. Okay, that means you will get 1 by 2 pi into root g by L, no? Okay. Now, some note points related to simple pendulum. First one, time period of the simple pendulum, time period, comma, t is equal to 2 pi into root L by Z. Okay, frequency. Frequency of the simple pendulum is the reciprocal of time period, that is equal to 1 by 2 pi into t means 2 pi root G by L. It is the frequency. Angular frequency means angular frequency. Omega is equal to 2 pi by capital T. Okay, that is equal to 2 pi by capital T means 2 pi by root L by G. That means root G by L you will get. Okay. Now, from the formula time period T is equal to 2 pi root L by Z. 2 pi is constant. So time period is proportional to root L and inversely proportional to root Z. That means time period of the simple pendulum is directly proportional to root L and inversely proportional to root Z. It is the relation between time period. At the given place means G is constant. When G is constant, then time period is directly proportional to root L. That means T1 by T2 is equal to root of L1 by L2. So at a given place, when the length of the pendulum is L1, its time period is T1. When length of the pendulum is L2, what is the time period? Means we have tried the relation like this. Okay. When same simple pendulum is brought from one planet to other planet, then what is the time period they may ask? ఒక ప్లానెట్ నుంచి ఇంకో ప్లానెట్ కి మనం మూవ్ చేసినప్పుడు లేదా సర్ఫేస్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎర్త్ మీద ఒక ప్లేస్ నుంచి ఇంకో ప్లేస్ కి సింపుల్ పెండలం ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ మూవ్ చేసినప్పుడు అక్కడ జీ వాల్యూ చేంజ్ అవుతుంది. జీ వాల్యూ చేంజ్ అవుతుంది కానీ అదే సింపుల్ పెండలం డిస్ప్లే చేస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి ఎల్ డస్ నాట్ చేంజ్. దట్ మీన్స్ ఎల్ ఈజ్ కాన్స్టెంట్. సో యాజ్ జీ చేంజెస్ టైం పీరియడ్ విల్ చేంజ్. దట్స్ వై వెన్ simple pendulum experiment is made at different places, comma, then T is inversely proportional to root G. So T1 by T2 is equal to root of G2 by G1. It is the formula. Okay, next. Third one, time period T is equal to 2 pi into root of L by on the surface of the earth of radius capital or mass of the earth capital M, on the surface of the earth acceleration due to gravity G. Then we can write small g is equal to capital G capital M by R square. No, we can write like this also. Small g, G means 2 pi into root of L by G means capital G capital M by R square, means into R square. Sometimes they may ask, without changing the mass of the earth, suppose it is compressed so that radius becomes half, what about the time period? In such case, only radius will change. Mass of the earth does not change, L does not change. That's why T is proportional to root R square as T is proportional to R. Okay, so based on the given problem, we can change the given formula. Okay, next. Suppose the simple pendulum experiment is performing in a lift. In lift, when acceleration of the lift is upwards, suppose when the lift is stationary, in lift concept only, when lift is stationary, that means at rest. When lift is stationary and from the ceiling of the lift, if the simple pendulum is suspended, then time period is equal to, time period T is equal to 2 pi into root L by G. When lift move upwards, when lift moves upward with acceleration A, comma, then time period T1 is equal to 2 pi into, what is the effective acceleration? When the lift is moving upwards with acceleration A, then what is the effective acceleration due to gravity? When the lift is moving upwards, then effective weight of the bob of the pendulum is equal to m of G plus A. Now effective acceleration becomes G plus A. That's why we have to write G plus A. When lift move downwards with acceleration A, comma, then time period T2 is equal to 2 pi into root of L by, what you have to write? When the lift is coming down with an acceleration A, then what is the formula for time period? T is equal to 2 pi into root L by G minus A, we have to write G minus A. Okay, next. Suppose while the lift is coming down, unfortunately the lift is broken. The rope of the lift is broken. Then lift acts as the freely falling body, no? Unfortunately, while the lift is coming down, if the rope of the lift is broken, then the lift behaves like a freely falling body. The lift behaves like a freely falling body. When lift falls freely, then A is equal to small z. So therefore, time period t is equal to 2 pi t3 say. T3 equal 2 pi into root L by g minus a, no, while coming down. That is equal to 2 pi into root of L by g minus a means z. That is equal to infinity. So time period is infinity means time taken by the simple pendulum to complete one oscillation is infinity, infinite time. That means very slowly it makes oscillations. Time taken to complete one oscillation is infinity means it does not make oscillations. So therefore, simple pendulum does not make oscillations. Simple pendulum does not makes oscillations. Simple pendulum does not make oscillations. Okay. Suppose if from the ceiling of the vehicle, which is moving with the acceleration a, one simple pendulum is suspended. Okay. Then on the bob of the pendulum, the pseudo force ma acts in this direction and weight mg acts in this direction. And it is under equilibrium by making some angle theta with the vertical. Okay. At that time, what is the resultant force acts on the bob of the pendulum? Resultant force acts on bob of the pendulum is in this direction along the length of the string only in this direction. Okay, that is equal to resultant force in this direction is equal to F, say that F is equal to square root of ma whole square plus mg whole square. That is equal to m into square root of a square plus g square. That is equal to m into g effective. So in this case, what is the g effective? So the simple pendulum is under equilibrium at this place. Whenever the vehicle is traveling with an acceleration a, then the simple pendulum suspended from the ceiling of the vehicle displaces through certain angle and it is under equilibrium at this place. It is under equilibrium at this place. Whenever the bob of the pendulum is under equilibrium at this place, then what is the angle made by this bob of the pendulum with vertical? If it is theta, definitely this is equal to theta, no? Then if from the diagram you take tan theta, tan theta is equal to opposite side means this side is parallel to this one. That's why ma by adjacent side means mg. That is equal to a by c. So whenever the vehicle is moving with an acceleration a, then the simple pendulum comes to equilibrium at this position by making an angle theta with the vertical. So at that time, what is the angle made by the bob of the pendulum with the vertical means theta. By using this formula, we can calculate. At this position, the pendulum is under equilibrium. So whenever it is under equilibrium, then what is the net force acts in this direction? That is equal to this one. From this, effective acceleration due to gravity in this case is equal to root a square plus g square. From this place, you pull the bob aside and release them. Then it makes oscillations like this. What is the time period? So in this case, time period t is equal to 2 pi into root of L by effective acceleration we had to write. Effective acceleration means this one. This is equal to 2 pi into root of L by effective acceleration means again square root of a square plus g square. This is the formula. Very, very important previously asked bit. Okay, Nana. If sudden brakes are applied means, so here sudden brakes are applied means then immediately this bob comes towards in forward direction. The bob comes towards forward direction. When sudden brakes are applied here, then suddenly here because of inertia property, here this comes to rest, but it continues motion along the straight line in forward direction only as that of the vehicle before brakes are applied. That's why it moves forward. While it is moving forward at certain position immediately by means of a string, it receives the impulse and immediately it is stopped in this direction and again they come back. Okay. Right now, have a nice day. I'm signing out. So based on this today, I have to do the problems. Okay. Bye all of you. Now time is 10:40.